because it's the effect of student choice in the classroom. Okay, so this is why I picked it. I was reading an article, and this research kind of stood out to me. It shows that students need choices in many areas of their day in order to develop problem solving and life skills. And I thought, And it said, you know, what we do is give directions all the time and expect the students to follow them. So it said they really need to be given more choices in a safe environment like we have. Like, I know sometimes we think they're given too many choices at home, but not always safe there. And the research also says that students are more engaged and are more likely to complete and participate in activities in which they have some sort of choice. And if you think about it, like when I took my master's classes, I was thrilled with the teachers who gave us assignments or tests where maybe we had 5 questions and we could choose 3 of them. You know, it just kind of gives you a little bit more relief that you might come across a question you have no idea what to write, and so you don't have to do that one. So I thought, well, students would be the same way. So let's give them some choices. So I did this with my co-taught math class, which was actually a dream class, I got to say. We ended up with 12 students. 6 were mine that I had in resource, and 6 were gen ed kids that didn't have a resource. So I decided my data would really be better data if I only used those 6 gen ed kids who didn't have a resource, because I make mine do their homework, so it wasn't really fair. So I used those kids, and we gave lots of different choices. Sometimes I let them choose partners. Sometimes I let them, they could do it independently or with a partner. Sometimes it was a choice of the activity, that kind of thing. So I did find out it didn't really matter whether I assigned the partners or let them pick. It really didn't seem to affect that, because in my mind I usually like to assign partners. But it worked just as well when they picked their own, and sometimes almost better, because there are certain kids nobody else wanted to really partner up with, but somebody in the class wanted to, so that worked better. So what I was looking at was their work completion percentages. And okay, so here's an activity where Dalton chose to work by himself, and these kiddos worked in a group. So that's what I thought I'd take a lot more pictures, and it was many. But it really worked really well. Like, I enjoyed going to class every day because they seemed to be more engaged, and it was fun to kind of just go around and sit and watch them work and talk to them. Now, at first, because we did a lot, it was after I stepped, we did a lot of problem solving activities, and at first they really did not like that because we weren't helping them. I said, you have a group, or you have, no, this is for you to do. So at first they didn't like it, and then they kind of got used to it and didn't complain anymore. But it was fun to go and sit with them and say, oh, okay, well, does that meet this criteria? Because they think they have it. And it was fun for me to just go around in a kind of a more relaxed setting and talk to the groups. So, and I'm a data person, so I did all kinds of little results. I actually wanted to see even by each kid. So here's the work completion. And I looked at their grades, and if you look, almost every student's grades went up as well, except for this one, so who knows. Like I said, it's a dream class. All of these kids, but maybe 2, should have A's or B's, but they didn't. I mean, they were just good kids. But if you look at work completion, almost every single kid went up by a lot. I also did this. These were the things they had a choice on, and these were those things like 10 for Fridays, or maybe a sub was there and they had to do a worksheet or something that they didn't have a choice on. So I wanted to see if there was an effect on that. So, and even that really kind of went up a little bit for most of them. But you can see their choice activities, their work completion was much better. So the total would be 60 and 82. So it did improve a lot, but those choice things, 94% were completed. So I thought that was kind of pretty amazing. And even there, like the things they didn't have a choice on, like 10 for Fridays, it went from 60% to 69. So I thought that was kind of good. But so we need to get more choices, guys. And it really wasn't that much more work to do that. We had different problem-solving activities. They could choose what ones to do. But I had a book that had some great things, and we had manipulatives and that kind of thing. So I thought these were really good results. Okay, the results were amazing to me. Percentage of work turned in increased, grades increased, student engagement was unbelievable. There were no behavior problems the entire 4 weeks. So none at all. And collaboration, they were not a group that liked to talk to each other and collaborate, but they really got so much better at that they were doing it. So it was really a win-win-win. I mean, I didn't really see any negatives, at least in our class. Like I said, it was a small class, and there were 2 of us. But it was unbelievable. So to me, that's going to become a major component in all the classes I'm in, Taryn. But Taryn and I saw the same results. So when we allowed them to choose what book they read, and their literature circles went great. Sometimes we gave them a choice to do something digitally or, by hand on paper. And even those showed good results. So not only did the students enjoy class more, but I did too. There was very little complaining, and it was great to be able to walk around the room and engage with the students in their learning, because we weren't having to take care of discipline issues or trying to maintain on-task behavior. So it was just one of those things that, in your mind that's a good idea, but you just don't take the time to do it a lot. And this showed me that we really need to. And I think you could do it in any class. Really, I mean, the activities were similar, so you could just give the same grade. And it was pretty amazing. That's it.
What class called the
I can't remember. It's one of the modules off the list.
Oh, okay.
It was really good though. But I've read more than one that talked about student choice.
Okay.
So, like I said, it just affected everything.
What kind of choices did you give? Just like the activity you want to do?
Some of that, but some were like, you could do something alone. Because we have a couple kids who are kind of don't really like to participate in groups, like anxiety-ridden students, and they would choose to work alone rather than in a partner. And then what else? I put it on here. What was that?
You said choice of activity.
Yeah, choice of activity. So sometimes which problems they wanted to do. So, for instance, if there was a dilation pictures, they could choose which picture, or which of these things do you want to complete out of. If there were 5 choices, pick 3 and do those. So, and then independent versus group or partner, and then sometimes I let them choose which partners or groups they want to work with. So there was some of it was a big choice, some of it was not such a big choice, but they always felt like they had some type of choice involved. So everybody needs to do this. Yes.
You said it was after I-STEP, like you just kind of mentioned that in passing. Do you think it's as feasible to do this any time in the year?
I think so, because I had done a few of them when Debbie was at jury duty, and we were trying to catch up on some things in that week's time. I gave them some choices then, and it was, if I would have 4 or 5 things that were kind of equal problems, but I didn't really have time to maybe do all of them. I would have them choose 2 or 3 of them to do, and they could choose whichever ones they wanted. So I think it is.
Also, how much better quality did the work? Were you able to notice?
Well, I mean, I guess their grades went up significantly. And actually it was pretty good, because usually in the groups, when they would do partners, there was usually one stronger. It just kind of worked that way. And that stronger partner would care about their grades. Or I'd have, say, this kiddo, who should be an A+ student, he turned in way more work and did a much better job on his work than he ever has, because he's pretty apathetic. Actually, he's an honors kid that just got shoved into our class. But I love him, but he just was motivated to turn in work, and he started doing it. But he paired with this kiddo, who should have had an A all along, but he had a C. He moved up to an A, because he had this kid who, even though would turn in the work all the time, he would kind of push him. I mean, those two together problem solving were amazing to watch. Because this one was a little lazy, this one is too, but this one has a lot of smarts. And it just kind of, it was interesting to watch them push each other.
You pairing up the students versus them thinking
Uh-huh.
of students, because was there a correlation of like, they're always used to working with the same student, did they pick the same student?
No,
or did they pick
because-
different ones?
Actually, a lot of times they did pick the same one. It would kind of depend on, because, you know, attendance was pretty bad in that class. So, sometimes they would pick the same, but if your normal partner you maybe pick wasn't there, then somebody else, they just kind of chose other people, and so it worked out really well. I mean, I was kind of surprised. I didn't have any problems with them choosing partners. Every once in a while, there'd be maybe 2 kids left, like the 2 quieter kids, and I'd say, well, I guess you guys are gonna partner up. And they would, it was okay. But like I said, we had a dream class. We probably only had like 1 or 2 kids that were ever an issue, too much, as far as actual behaviors. Yeah.
When you gave them choices of like problems to do,
Mhm.
were those problems leveled so they did some from each section, or they could do any combination, or were they all the same level? How did you work that?
Most of them at that point were the same kind of level. Now, when we did one activity that was, it was kind of a review of the whole year, and they could kind of go what station they wanted to go to. They were different levels, but they didn't really realize it until they got there. So, they could move. Sometimes they moved to something that if it was too hard at the time. But the ones who, there were a lot of times when they would just call us over. Actually, as we saw that activity, we're like, we need to use this before I step, because it was very challenging, but it worked out pretty well. Thank you. Let's keep going.